Hi, I'm George Guthrie. I'm one of the editors for the Zondervan Exegetical Commentary on the New Testament. When we were designing this commentary series, we thought that diagramming would be important to include. The main reason we wanted to use diagrams in the commentary was to help pastors and lay people get a sense of an overview of a passage, how the different parts of the passage fit together to work. And so we included diagramming as an aspect of our commentary series because we thought this would be very visually helpful and then also helpful in kind of getting your mind around the text. Now, what I want to do in this introductory session is give you the big picture of what we're trying to accomplish in the diagramming methodology. In the following sessions, we'll actually go into a series of videos on how to do the diagramming itself, all the way from setting up your table to the intricate parts of laying out interesting aspects of the text. But in this session, I just want to give you a brief introduction to the big picture. So if you'll notice on the screen, we have the diagrams laid out in table format. And each table has a unit of text that it's trying to illustrate, and I have the unit itself identified right above the table. The table is divided into three columns. In the left-hand column, you have the verses and verse parts identified by A, B, C, D, and following. In the second column, you have labels that identify the different parts of the passage. Now, these labels are sometimes identifying the meaning of the text. They're actually corresponding at points to the syntax of the text. They may identify the pragmatics of different parts of the text, how those different parts of the text function. Notice that the text itself is laid out in English translation. These are translations in the commentary series done by the authors. We chose to go with English translation rather than the Greek text, but the diagram reflects the different grammatical dynamics in the Greek text. So at times in the diagram you will see something that looks like a main clause. For instance, I pray with joy in this part of the text. Actually, that is a subordinate clause in the Greek text. So where the part of the text fits in the diagram is going to be determined by its function in the Greek text, not in the English translation. The reason why we do this is so that you can see very quickly the main movements of a passage and then also the dominant elements in the text over against subordinate elements in the text. You'll notice that the main clauses are lined out in bold type, and then you have conjunctions given in a shaded type. Now, let me say a word about conjunctions. Your conjunctions that join main clauses are going to be indented on the left margin. They're normally going to be indented 5 spaces. So I'm going to move this one over just a couple of more spaces. They're going to be 5 letter spaces from the left-hand margin. And so you have this dynamic with main clause conjunctions. Conjunctions that are joining other parts of the text, subordinate parts of the text, perhaps words or phrases or even clauses. Those conjunctions are going to be found at the end of the line of the first member of a pair or series of words, phrases, or clauses. So for instance, the conjunction or here is at the end of the line because it is joining subordinate types of elements. Sometimes we will have a line in the diagram to show parallel elements that are removed from one another a bit in the diagram, so it's really clear that those are parallel elements. And you'll notice that in the diagramming method itself, parallelism is highlighted. And so you'll have elements that will be parallel grammatically, or They might have some type of literary parallelism that needs to be highlighted, and those are shown in the diagram by putting one element right under the other, and you'll see this as we go along. Okay, that's the big picture of what we're trying to accomplish in the diagramming method, and we'll begin with the next session in session 1 of the methodology itself by showing you how to set all of this up, and then we'll just kind of walk through it step by step to give you a sense of how you can do this diagramming method yourself.